One Night at Flumpty's 2 is the sequel to One Night at Flumpty's, released on April 11, 2015. Flumpty's 2 was released about 2 months after the original game. The gameplay in Flumpty's 2 is completely different from the original, which is obviously for the better. If Jonocrome did what he did with the original One Night at Flumpty's, but just made it FNAF 2 instead of FNAF 1, I don't think this game would have been as successful and well-loved as it is now. When Jonocrome was making Flumpty's 2, he wanted to make a fan game that no one has ever played before at the time. And in my opinion, he succeeded. He made a truly fantastic game in this, and is truly impressive since it only came out a little over 2 months later. According to Jonocrome, it took about a week to draw The Office. The Office in One Night at Flumpty's 2 tries to avoid the color blue as much as possible, just like how The Office in the first game tried to avoid the color green. This can be found in both games, with Flumpty 2 the whale being green instead of blue, and in Flumpty's 1 having a blue cactus instead of a green cactus. I actually want to talk about the Easter eggs in One Night at Flumpty's 2, and I will be going over the Easter eggs and just general stuff that I missed in the original One Night at Flumpty. The painting of the orange cat in the Fazbear Fanverse version of One Night at Flumpty's 2 was originally a picture of Pac-Man, but he had to change it as to avoid a copyright complaint. In the original version of the game back in 2015, there was Piglet's corpse that was dissected. From time to time, he could look at you. However, just like with Pac-Man, that had to be changed to avoid copyright. Just like in the Five Nights at Freddy's games, clicking the decapitated head of Freddy Fazbear in The Office will earn a honk from the head. Pressing the nose of the decapitated cheetah on the head will earn you a person saying "roar." One Night at Flumpty's 1 has a lot of Easter eggs. Some of these Easter eggs includes Winnie the Pooh, Dr. Mario, Donkey Kong. Just like Flumpty's 2, Jonocrome had to change those once the first game got a remake for the Fazbear Fanverse Initiative. In One Night at Flumpty's 1, on hard-boiled mode, which I completely forgot to mention by the way, there is a phone call that is distorted. When it's reversed, it apparently says, "How can a symbol of life be a chaos god of death?" We're done talking about One Night at Flumpty's 1 for this video. Let's go back to One Night at Flumpty's 2. Now, before I actually get into the gameplay of One Night at Flumpty's 2, I want to talk about the teasers that were made for One Night at Flumpty's 2. One Night at Flumpty's 1 never had any teasers outside of a trailer for the game. Each teaser is a parody of FNAF 2 and 3 respectively. The No Place to Run is a parody of the One Place to Hide, Nowhere to Run teaser for FNAF. The Flumpty Oh Hey I'm Still Here I Guess teaser is a parody of the Springtrap I'm Still Here teaser for FNAF 3. And the Birthday Boy Blam Guess Who teaser is a teaser parodying Phantom Balloon Boys teaser for FNAF 3. In One Night at Flumpty's 2, you have to defend yourself from every character with the exception of the owl, using the light switch inside your office. Jonocrome had come up with the idea of defending yourself by turning the lights off via nightmare he had whenever he was visiting his relative's house. John had a dream where he was stuck in a room with a light switch, and whenever he would turn off the light switch, he would be safe. However, one of the monsters saw him and charged at him. He abruptly woke up and took that as a sign and developed that into Flumpty's 2. I want to talk about the camera system in this game, as I find it to be rather unique and a pretty fun challenge that's different from most FNAF fan games, and hell, even the official titles. The camera has a very low battery life. If you run out of battery, then you have to wait 5 seconds for the computer to reboot. The monitor recharges when the lights are on and not in use. Just like in the last video, I want to talk about how each character works. Just like the first game, Flumpty is active immediately and will teleport around, and he could teleport to your room just as the night will begin. Birthday Boy Blam activates at 1 a.m. and goes to cam 6, 3, and 7. Then, whenever he leaves cam 7, turn the lights off immediately, as he'll appear in your room 2 seconds later. When Birthday Boy Blam is leaving through the hallway, you can actually turn the lights back on when when he's not facing you. The owl stays in cam 3 and sits on top of the urinal. If the owl disappears from the urinal, he's going through one of the 2 vents. If you see him in the vent camera that you look in, close the door immediately or else you'll die. But that other door, it would take if you don't see him in the vent, then it would take the owl like 15 seconds to get to your room. The owl was the only character that the lights don't work on. That might be due to the fact that owls can actually see in the dark. A hole will appear near your office. That's where Grunkfist the Clown will come from. Grunkfist the Clown might be the most different from the original game. Instead of only coming closer to you every time you flip up the camera, instead, he essentially acts similar to the puppet with his patience meter. Grunkfist will be in cam 2. Every second is 30 seconds off of Grunkfist's patience meter. Grunkfist actually fills up the exposure meter the second highest. The only person who does it higher is the eyesore. That's because Grunkfist is actually in the office as opposed to anyone else. The eyesore is active around 4 to 5 a.m. The eyesore will go to 3 cameras. Camera 1, camera 3, and camera 6. In hard-boiled mode, eyesore is the worst enemy you could deal with. The reason why is because in hard-boiled mode, if your exposure meter is a quarter way full or higher, you'll get instantly jump-scared by the eyesore if he sees you. Golden Flumpty is very similar to how he worked in the original game. In the original game, you had to flip up your camera. You could do that too, or you could just turn the lights off, which I prefer to do on mobile. Then there's the Red Man. The Red Man is just a computer virus. Click cancel, and that's it. You've just dealt with it. The game ends with 5 a.m. turning into spam, and we get this really nice 8-bit ending. And that's One Night at Flumpty's 2. I think One Night at Flumpty's 2 is a massive improvement over One Night at Flumpty's 1. If I had to put this on a tier list, I would put this game on an easy S tier. Meanwhile, this would probably just be an A tier. This is the end of the video. If you watched it all the way through, I want to say thank you. And yeah, have a good day.